G'day and thanks for joining us. And we have a ripper of a road trip for you this week as we'll be travelling through Western Australia's Murchison GeoRegion. Ancient lands and brilliant skies, and perfect for the budding astrologer. That's what they're saying about this magnificent region of WA. From Perth, it's an easy 5-hour drive to Yalgoo, our first stop. Then we're on to Murchison Settlement before making our way to Kew and rounding out our Murchison GeoRegion road trip in Mount Magnet. This was Australia's first GeoRegion, and the story is the landscape around here is said to be around 4.5 billion years old, with sites of both natural and cultural significance. Folks, this is the real outback. An early start out of Perth, and we make our way to Yalgoo. Right on the doorstep of Australia's golden outback, amongst wide open spaces and landscapes only Mother Nature could be responsible for. Well, we're lucky to be out here in wildflower season, something the region is well known for, and they make what is already a pretty drive even better. And in Yalgoo, there is loads of history, because back in the day, in the 1890s, it was well and truly entrenched in the gold rush era. And as you walk around the streets of this great little outback town, you can still see some of the original buildings still stand, and just for a little bit of outback quirk, it even has a pink pub. Just out of town, and we're off to one of the Murchison GeoRegion's mysterious and historic landmarks. Now, locals will tell you that Joker's Tunnel was built in 1896 and was funded by English investors when news of the gold rush travelled around the world. Now, back then, the mining leases were named after popular card games. So this tunnel, of course, was named after the game, the Joker. When news broke out about the boom, thousands of miners came from all over the world to seek their fortune. But it's said they didn't find a great amount of gold on the Joker's lease. What's just amazing is that they dug out around 550 tonnes of rock from this particular tunnel with just pick and shovel. No explosives back then, of course. Only processed, apparently, 3 kilos. So a lot of work for very little return. And there was wild rumours about scams and misleading stories to get investors to put their money in, which apparently was very common practice during the gold rush days. The tunnel goes for 200 metres and is an easy walk. It's well worth the effort. Oh, make sure you bring along a torch. Next day, up bright and early, and we're moving on into station country.
So Joe, tell me the story how you came to be on Malangata Station. How did that happen?
Yeah, I'd always wanted to start up my own B&B and homestead stays and campground.
It's something that doesn't happen a lot for people, but this is a dream realised for you.
It is, yes. Yeah, it most certainly is, and I must admit that when we first got here, I did feel a little bit like the dog that had finally caught the car.
Yeah, what do I do now?
Exactly, what am I supposed to do now? But it's been an evolution as well, and over time we've managed to create something out of almost nothing. We do have the campground, and they're all self-sufficient, really easy to look after. And then we do also have the shearers' quarters and the cottage and bell tents as well, plus the homestead. So the homestead's a little bit different in the fact that all you need to do is bring your clothes and your special drop or two to have with dinner at night. And basically I look after you. And of course this year we are being blessed with the most amazing wildflower season.
Stunning.
I know, it is just incredible.
It's a beautiful building, Joe. How old is it?
It's over 100 years old now. So 1917 was when it got started being built. And it is the only privately owned residence that was designed by a gentleman called Monsignor John Hawes. He was bought out by the Catholic Church in 1915. And it's the only privately owned residence that he designed that has been built in Australia.
Did you fall in love with it as soon as you saw it?
Yes, I did, which of course is the wrong thing anyone should do when it comes to buying real estate. And yeah, I do have to say that no, my love for it hasn't changed over the years.
Yeah. Well, this would be a big part of the Malangata spell, wouldn't it, Joe? Sitting around a campfire.
Yes, the Malangata magic spell, it certainly is. And it's one of the things that we get complimented on often, is the fact that people just really do enjoy coming and sitting around the campfire.
And they go home with a little bit of Malangata in their bellies as well, because you're prolific at camp oven cooking.
Yes, I am.
The stories
I
about
am.
your cooking, I've heard.
Yeah, I started off being able to cook from a very young age, so I've always had that in my life. People come here to me and I teach them how to cook in a camp oven. If they can go away with a little bit of Malangata in their heart, well then my job's done.
Yalgoo, the first stop in our Murchison GeoRegion road trip. And if you're lucky to get here around September time, you can get amongst the Shire's Space Trail events where you can take full advantage of the stunning clear blue skies out this way. Stick around as we're heading towards the Shire with no town. The road takes us west from Yalgoo, then north from Mullewa, and we're on our way through the Murchison Shire.
Next destination, Murchison Settlement. As I mentioned before, it is the Shire with no town, home to less than 120 people in the entire Shire, covering around 50,000 square kilometres. This is the real outback.
As we meander through some amazing landscapes, you sense that this countryside, full of wide open spaces, could tell many a story.
We've made a stop at one of the iconic crossings of the region, along the banks of the beautiful Murchison River. This is the Ballinew Bridge, and it was the second concrete bridge to be built in Western Australia. Until it was replaced, it was the oldest. Now, construction of this original bridge began in 1929 to help drovers cross the river. And in 2016, the Shire opened a longer, higher bridge.
For people of the Murchison, Ballinew Bridge is vitally important to the region, as it joins the south to the north and has been an important landmark for almost a century, especially in the wetter months. Nowadays, it's a popular free camp overnighter for travellers heading further north or on their way home.
Geez, Julie, you can pick a spot. This is one of the best camping spots I've ever seen. I've seen a few.
Pretty good. Yeah, can't get any better than this. On the Murchison River,
Yeah.
water still flowing, birds and wildlife. Love it.
I'm a little bit jealous of you. You've got your chairs set up here, you've got a fire. What's the
Yes.
next few hours in store for you and Ross?
Just more relaxing. Yeah, cooked dinner, got some sausages for the barbie.
You
Just
might be the
chill.
most relaxed person I've been on my trip so far, and I can see why.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any better.
Onto our base for the night, around 80 k's further north, as we travel through pastoral country across a land of desert landscapes that have been home to sheep and cattle since the 1870s. This is also the southern gateway to the largest rock on Earth, Mount Augustus. Murchison Settlement certainly showcases the real Australian outback, as we are a fair way away from anywhere, 650 k's from Perth. Having said that though, this is the Shire's base and a popular stopover for tourists to refuel and rest a while before carrying on with their adventures. A short drive and you arrive at Errabiddy Bluff, named by the local Wurundjeri traditional owners. In Wurundjeri, Errabiddy means mouth of bucked teeth, and once you see the sharp teeth-like rocks, you understand why. An ideal spot to take in the clear night skies. Errabiddy during wildflower season lights up with colour and is an awesome location to connect with culture thousands of years in the making. Errabiddy is said to be around, wait for it, 600 million years old, and is made of sandstone and siltstone, and these ancient beautiful cliff faces rise up to 100 metres across the Murchison landscape. And they say you can see Errabiddy from about 30 k's away. I'll tell you what, the views out here are something else. After a solid night's sleep, we are ready to explore more of the Murchison GeoRegion and heading further north. Out of nowhere, we reach Bilung Pool, one of the largest permanent waterholes in the Murchison, connected to the seasonal Wurrumal River. 150 k's drive from the settlement, this spot sits around 10 metres below the surrounding plains and as a free camp provides a peaceful place of rest in an otherwise arid countryside.
When the Europeans came and settled locally, the pool became an important stop on the stock route between Mullewa and De Grey. It's where drovers spent many months bringing cattle and sheep to markets. It's also an area which has a strong Aboriginal story behind its meaning. Well, this welcome watering point is known as Burlingati by the local Wadjuri people. Burlingati was an Aboriginal elder, and this was his Bimata, or the home of his dreaming, the place from which ancient Dreamtime laws and customs originate. And as you can see, absolutely stunning. A return drive back towards Murchison settlement, and we make a stop at the local museum. Curated and maintained by passionate locals and volunteers, a donation will get you inside, where you'll discover a living museum that commemorates life in this pastoral station country. This important community facility was built in the 1980s, reusing local materials, with the wood used to make the doors and window frames coming from the railway sleepers abandoned at the Pindar-Meekatharra railway line, while overhead cross beams and veranda posts were previously telephone poles. A quick refuel and we're back on the dirt and on our way inland to a town fondly known as the Queen of the Murchison. The road heads east to Kew, a beautiful historic town that continues to sparkle years after the gold rush era of the late 1800s, when it was home to 10,000 people. Kew is well known for having loads of history, and what the Shire has done to restore the town, especially in recent years, to share the story of its past is just amazing. Now, Kew is known as the Queen of the Murchison, the extensive amount of gold mining that's been happening over the years. When you do land in Kew, and I highly suggest you do, you can take that step back in time by following the town's heritage trail. To make your stroll around Kew nice and easy to navigate, the Shire have designed an easy-to-use app which tells you everything you need to know about the 13 historic sites, and in only 2.7 k's, it's easy work. Starting at the Shire offices on Austin Street, you can follow the trail, retracing the origins and developments of Kew, highlighting the town's early gold mining years. The old jail, now located at the town caravan park, was built in 1896. All right, guys, let me out. Guys? Guys? Guys! The old railway building is now used as a youth centre. The Victorian-style rotunda is located on the site of an old well, and significant buildings on Austin Street demonstrate a gold mining landscape that has not changed much over the years. Well, this is the most photographed building in Kew. Insta famous, if you don't mind, and one of the few buildings in town not made from local stone. Now owned by the Shire, this quirky but quite spooky, if I'm being honest, establishment was built in the late 1800s and in the 1970s was used as a Masonic hall. Its claim to fame nowadays, it's the largest freestanding double-storey corrugated iron structure in the Southern Hemisphere. And as impressive as that is, I just find it spooky, so I'm going to leave. The Kew Heritage Centre, at the back of the Visitor Information Centre, is an exhibition in itself and provides an intimate display from Kew's pre-settlement and mining era. The township of Daydawn, located just outside of town, was home to the Great Fingal gold mine back in the 1900s and home to some 3,000 people. Not much to see of Daydawn these days, but this old beauty was located at the Daydawn Hotel way back. And the Nickelodeon, as it's known, was essentially an olden day jukebox and no doubt a great source of entertainment for the locals during the booming gold rush era. If you're up for some exploring, you don't have to travel too far out of town to experience more of what the region has on show. Well, this is the site of Kew's old hospital, just outside of town and closed in 1942. It was made from natural stone, which you can see scattered all around me here, and opened in 1895. Not a great deal remains, of course, these couple of walls, and behind me, this old chimney, recently restored, was the hospital's incinerator. Time to explore more around Kew. Hitting the road around 50 k's out of town to one of the must-see Murchison GeoRegion sites. Measuring 5 kilometres in diameter and 1.5 k's in length, Wolga Rock rises up from the rich red dirt of the outback and is the second largest monolith in Australia, behind Uluru. Also known as Wolgana Rock to the local Wurundjeri elders, at 50 hectares in size, this 2.5 billion-year-old granite rock, yes, I did say billion, provided shelter for Aboriginal people for thousands of years. This gallery of Indigenous artwork has to be seen to be believed. In fact, it's the largest gallery of Aboriginal rock paintings in Western Australia. And at 60 metres long, it really showcases why this place has long been a deeply spiritual and special location for local Indigenous people. And I'll tell you what, I have never seen anything like it. Amazingly tucked away right at the end of the gallery is what appears to be a sailing vessel. Now, there's quite a few theories floating around as to its significance because we're 300 k's from the coast. One theory is that it was one of the Dutch ships that came to grief off the coast of Western Australia back in the 17th century. Just one of a few stories that are out there, but either way, it remains a mystery. But I'll tell you this is a place you simply have to visit. Make sure you make some time to explore further afield around Kew. The outback out here is just extraordinary. Well, how cool is Kew? Well worth, I reckon, parking up the car or the van and spending a bit of time here. It really is a great little outback town, and as you can see, plenty to explore here. Early rise and we're back on the bitumen and towards a destination we've been told is a world away from anywhere else, a unique outback experience, and I am really looking forward to this one. 427,880 acres of spectacular Australian outback. Meeline Station is right in the heart of the Murchison, and it's home to long-time locals Adrian and Karen Morrissey. Well, this is a stunning part of the world you've got here, Karen. It's beautiful.
It is, Chris. It's completely, absolutely magnificent. And I've been here 48 years. My husband's been here 75 years.
Wow.
And his father and his uncle had established the property in 1935.
So, Karen, I'd heard about the brilliant skies of the Murchison GeoRegion, but since travelling the last week, I've seen the stars in a way in which I've never seen them.
It is an absolutely extraordinary night sky here, and you feel so you can just pluck them out of the sky. They're just so amazing.
Just put one in your pocket.
Yeah, that's right. And the whole sweep of the Milky Way, just beautiful. In 1986, we were asked if a group of Japanese students could be brought out by Mr. Akira Fuji, a renowned astrophotographer. And he said there were 3 places in the world that had really dark night skies, and one of them was out here. So, so that's coming from the best of the best. We've been destocked for about a decade now. Tourism was an opportunity that we could move into, particularly after the astronomers came. We sort of found that people gave the astronomers an opportunity to get a dark sky.
Yeah.
And so we appreciated that. And now we're coming to a stage where we will need to make our plans for moving on and going to the next level, and we're just so thrilled to have an opportunity with our new neighbours to the south of us. Two station properties have been taken over by Forever Wild. It's a new initiative of creating, while still having a pastoral enterprise, but also creating a wilderness area that people can come to visit. It'll just give people an opportunity to come here and just fall in love with Meeline the way we have.
We're on our way to our last stop on this adventure, Mount Magnet. Magna is Western Australia's longest surviving gold mining settlement, and thousands of tourists are drawn here every year to the geo hub of the Murchison. Well, wildflower season is just nuts out this way. After the winter rains, the region is just awash with colour and it's absolutely beautiful. But if that doesn't bring you out here, mining is still going strong. So if fossicking is your thing, then this is the place to do it. No matter what the reason is for getting out here, and certainly there are many, it's worth it just for the drive alone, because the landscapes that we've seen along the way are just extraordinary. The Shire of Mount Magna encompasses almost 14,000 square kilometres. But today, we're going to take in just a fraction of this landscape via the town's 37k tourist trail. Well, how absolutely extraordinary is this spot? They say this was the site of an ancient waterfall back when the lands were at a different level, and I'm talking way, way back in time. This is stop number 10 on the trail. This is the natural amphitheatre. And this island of laterite has created, as you can see, all these small caverns and caves to create what is absolutely astounding. And as you can imagine, wouldn't this be the most perfect spot for a concert under the stars? As well as being one of the must-do Murchison GeoRegion sites, the amphitheatre is also part of the Miners' Pathway. It's a place where visitors and locals have been coming to for years, and you can certainly see the attraction. A site of strong cultural significance to the local Badamaya people, the granites, just 7 k's out of town, light up at twilight, with caves created in the soft white granite landscape, providing shelter for local wildlife. If you had the opportunity to spend a few hours out here, there's a very good chance you'll spot some Aboriginal artwork said to be around 9,000 years old. There's also some ceremonial and burial sites scattered around the granite, so visitors are asked to please respect the cultural significance of these lands. But all in all, just another extraordinary slice of the Murchison. Well, magnificent Mount Magna, the final destination on our Murchison GeoRegion road trip. Meekatharra, Sandstone and Wiluna are also part of the GeoRegion, and make sure you visit those when you venture out this way. We may have mentioned this a few times, but the incredible clear night skies in the region are globally recognised. So if you are interested in astronomy and also unearthing the amazing stories out this way, then can I recommend visiting Mount Magna during the month of September for the Astro Rocks Festival. Check it out online. It sounds amazing, and the good news is it is free. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this great Aussie road trip this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get out to visit this area very, very soon. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Drop us a follow on our socials. We'd love you to tag along on our next road trip. Until then, take care. I'll see you next time.
Wanna get gone.